This guy's hysterical, man. I'm going in. Oh, let me plug in here. So it doesn't say that YouTube is kicking us off, right?
No, it's just ending. But I'm streaming now. We'll see.
All right, so we're here again.
Yeah, for now.
For now. Yeah, we keep having technical difficulties. We can't tell if YouTube is kicking us off or if we're doing it ourselves or how it's
going.
going.
Shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, could be either way. We won't be here next week, so maybe by the time we get.
Here now either.
Huh?
We're not going to be here now either.
Yeah, that's true. We'll enjoy it while we got it. Yeah, maybe it's because I who knows? Who the fuck knows? So we had a bunch of things in the title, some of which may have caused them to get upset. Maybe it's my shirt. Disappointment to all of you. I love that. It's great. Yeah, so okay, so let's do the show then. It kind of threw me off doing this, because we do some things typically. We got our hero for the week. We can start there if you want. We got. This is one of my favorite DEI hires. Is my hero for the week, and that's really what she was a DEI hire. And this woman is absolutely fantastic.
She's still in the title.
Elizabeth Holmes.
She's still in there.
Oh, okay. Well, I love her. I think she's great, man. Here, hold on a second. I got the thing. I want to show you. This is so Elizabeth Holmes, right? If you don't know who she is, you should know who she is. She started a company called Theranos, and she developed a machine that with one drop of blood, this machine could diagnose diabetes, cancer, Parkinson's. Like there's like a whole list of shit that with one drop of blood, like when you go to the doctor and you give 3 vials of blood, Elizabeth had developed a machine that with one prick of your finger, it would diagnose all of these things, right? And they bought the machines. They put them in a bunch of Walgreens and CVS's and shit in California, right, where she started. She an incredibly brilliant woman. Yes, there's only one problem, is that it never worked, right? Now nobody bothered to look at. Now here, I want to show you this chick, right? Because this is what I love. I love it. All right, let me see. I put it here, right? Didn't I? Yeah. Did I put it live show? All right, here she is. This is my girl Elizabeth right here. Yeah.
Oh wait,
that's Elizabeth. This is a girl that gave $9 billion to. Oh, but she's a woman and she's so smart. Now here's her backstory, right? And the reason that she's my hero of the week, right? Because I love people who can scam supposedly smart people out of a lot of money, right? Nobody gets hurt. That's one of the things I like. No, like I mean, I guess people really technically did get hurt because like she misdiagnosed them with cancer and shit like that, right? That can be bad.
Water under the bridge.
But listen, and this was the whole thing. Like nobody bothered. Like maybe we should check under the hood just a little bit before we spend all the money on this car. Maybe we should make sure it's got an engine. Like nah, fuck it. It looks really good. What's the worst that could happen? She was, now here she is. She's the youngest billionaire, female billionaire in the world. And she did that at 19 years old. She dropped out of Stanford University. So like she had gone through high school and everything. She was valedictorian from high school and all this shit, right? Now she got an idea to develop a machine that would detect diseases. Now her initial idea, because I said she was flying to Singapore, I believe it was, in 2001 or 2002 when there was an outbreak of SARS. And she gets this idea on the plane. She's like, oh, wouldn't it be fucking great if you could put like this patch on your arm and it would tell you if you had SARS, right? That's a great idea. It's like, yeah, that really is a good idea. We should do that.
I want to put a sticker on me to see what Disney
right,
princess
exactly.
I am.
It's like a mood ring for your diseases, Did you ever watch a Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
There's a Big Bang Theory where one of like Leonard's old nemesis is coming back. There's a guy that was like bullied him in high school. comes to see him. I should have brought up the clip, but we probably get hit with a copyright thing anyway. But anyway, his old bully nemesis from high school comes and he says, "I got a great idea." And he says, and Leonard said, "Well, what is it?" He says, a pair of glasses that makes any movie 3D. And they're like, "Wow, that is a great idea. How does it work?" And he goes, I don't know. That's for you guys to figure out. It was just my idea, right? So like she had this great idea, but she had nothing behind it, right? So she goes home and she's got this great idea. She's going to make this patch that you could put on people and it could tell them if they got the SARS disease or whatever, right? And well, that didn't seem like it was going to be feasible. So she comes up with I got a better idea.
I have a box.
And she says, and so she goes to her family. You say, is she from a wealthy family? And I guess she was. Blonde white chick from California who went to Stanford. I'm going to guess she comes from some money anyway. But she went to family and friends, and they gave her $7 million because she said she had this idea for the Theranos detector, right? For the one finger prick, and it could detect all these diseases, right? So they give her she makes $7 million she raises from friends and family as initial investors for seed money. And so she starts going to work on this thing, and all of a sudden she's got all these investors. See, because all these people are this is a brilliant chick. Look at her. Oh, she's so smart.
Look at those eyes.
Dude, they threw $9 billion at her without a verifiable product. She started building these Theranos boxes, right? And distributing them to CVS and Walgreens and all these. It never worked. It never worked.
They played VHS tapes.
It would have been if it played VHS or 8-tracks.
It'd be more useful.
Would have at least had a use. There would have been some purpose to it. And even after it started falling apart, they're still throwing money at her.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, whenever you're on top, there's always haters." Look at it. Now here she is, right? Now nobody seemed to be bothered, right? With the fact that, and I'm reading from my notes here, right? Nobody seemed to be bothered by the fact that this chick was 19 years old. She had no medical training, no engineering, nothing. She also changed herself, right? She had an infatuation with Steve Jobs.
And pricks.
Yeah, she had some weird relationship with this Indian guy, this older Indian guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember in the thing.
And but anyway, she started wearing turtlenecks like Steve Jobs did, and she started talking in a lower register because she said that men would take her more seriously. Well, she didn't say that. She said that after they said, "Well, why are you doing that?"
She pulled that card.
Like that, right?
She waited to pull that card.
Yeah, and now her company that never produced a result was worth $9 billion, and she owned half of it. So she was worth $4.5 to $5 billion. And I put here, this is my thing. She's the original DEI hire. Now, she went to jail for fraud. She's in jail right now. But I understand that when she gets out, that Delta Airlines is going to hire her as a pilot, right? Because she developed another system, apparently, that an autopilot, so that she could also be the crew on the plane, so they could get rid of all the rest of the crew. And she'll fly the plane and serve the drinks all at the same time. It's going to be great, man.
Trust me, it's going to work.
So Delta's already given her $1 billion for, forgive the pun, the pilot program. So, yeah, and I don't know how much longer she has in jail, but we are probably better off as a society with her in there. And when she gets you can see look at this woman has such great crazy eyes, man.
She has an amazing imagination.
She's a total sociopath. There were people in the building, right, when all of this was crumbling, and there were a couple whistleblowers in there, because there were people who were on board, like doctors and engineers who came on board because they really believed in her. They wanted this to be true so badly that a woman can do this, because it was like women in engineering, right? Like women in medical, and that's all they saw was it was a woman doing this shit. Mm. She probably never could have gotten I can't say that, though, because people are gullible, man. And when you tell people we can make a lot of money and there's very little that you have to do, people are on board. Well, Mark Twain said it, right? He said it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled. And it's so true, man. It's so true in so many ways. And people just never buy it. Like, oh no, she couldn't possibly be lying. They're like, oh, she's got an engineering background. She had one semester of an introductory engineering course at Stanford University. And they're like, oh yeah, she's got an engineering background. Sure. Well, you mean you really think she should have done all 4 years to have an engineering degree? Nah. Just give her $1 billion. What's $1 billion between friends? You know? And there she is. And when it fell apart, she had people in the facility, and they're doing a tour, and they're like, they did it, and she is telling them it works while they're in the facility, trying to make it look like to doctor the results to make it look like the machine actually worked.
It's like when you're a kid and you have the cardboard box and you draw the buttons on it.
Yeah, but that's the funny thing. That's exactly what it was.
Look at the meter. Yeah. It's always passing.
Look at the nice, sleek design. It's so streamlined. It's fantastic.
Miss Holmes? Throw away the key.
I have another idea. And you can see, I'm an idea man. Oh, you don't remember that. You saw that movie once a long time. You got to watch that movie again. I'm an idea man, Chuck. I'm an idea man. What was the other thing we were going to talk about? I forget why I took these pictures. Oh, what the hell was that for? I had an idea, Walter. It was something devastating, too. I don't remember. I took these pictures of, oh my God, what was that for? Walter, I'm losing it.
What are the pictures?
The pictures of Tokyo and Dresden after World War II.
Godzilla?
No, Godzilla! No, there was something else. Oh, was it Gaza? It might have been the Gaza thing.
Godzilla?
That's what it was. It was the gays for Queers for Palestine that we were going to discuss later. That we could discuss now if you want to discuss it.
Godzilla, Gaza, Queers.
Godzilla.
That was close.
What was that thing at the pilot? Oh, God, that was funny. Hold on, I have that here too. Somewhere. Hold on.
Oh, Angel Reese, I told you she has a podcast.
I watched a couple of things on it.
On mute?
No, I listened to it because I was just as curious as everybody else. Because right here, these are some. I want to play this. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren. These are just some that I've saved. I can't find it now. I don't see it. I thought I had it in here. It was I'm a pirate. You're a pirate? What, you rob ships? No, a pirate. I fry planes. It was an Asian chick. I'm a pirate. I fry planes. I guess that's politically incorrect too.
Is that the number 3 on your food menu, or
what number 3? What are you talking about?
Fried pranes.
Fried pranes, yeah. What was this? I don't remember these now.
We're just testing YouTube now to see if we get knocked off.
For Elizabeth Warren and all the Democrat politicians. And quite frankly, I agree with it.
So under the last administration, they wanted to hire 80,000 IRS employees to look into our spending. You know, the pennies for Truth Fairy, the money we give our grandkids and slide under the table, you know, the mismanagement of $500 or more.
Yeah.
But yet we have Elizabeth Warren on the streets crying that we didn't vote for Elon Musk.
I did.
The Democrats didn't vote for Elon. The Republicans didn't vote for Elon. The vegetarians didn't vote for Elon. We didn't vote for them.
That's enough. Okay, we get it. Yeah.
Who the fuck is that bitch?
Elizabeth Warren. Oh, here, and this was the one that I sent you. This was hysterical. This is Angel. And I love her. I think she's great and sexy as hell. I got to be honest.
WNBA's most hyped rookie is also the worst scorer in the league. Yeah, dead last.
Look at her, though.
Angel
She's
Reese
fucking
ranks
beautiful,
30th.
man. Look at her.
Her eyes are running away from each other.
Oh, come on, man. Look at the body. I don't even see her eyes.
I see a baby giraffe.
What did I tell you at my age, Walter? What's the most important thing that I see on a woman?
The back of their head.
There you go. See, he's paying attention. The back of her head. Yeah.
Efficiency.
And depending on the wig, you know.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Missing layups off. And here's the twist. Nearly 40% of her rebounds come from grabbing her own
40%.
missed shots. She's 6'3",
Her
but
own
shoots
missed shots.
worse from under
That's
the
the
basket.
trick.
and Guards a foot shorter. While Caitlin Clark is thriving at 58.3% efficiency, Reese is stuck
fuck
at
Caitlin Clark, though.
46.4%. Even Lisa Leslie told her.
Look at her. Oh, she looks great as a blonde. And that ain't cultural appropriation, people. That's just sexy. Her eyes, her eyes are she don't have lazy eyes.
No, I didn't say that they're lazy. They're just far apart.
The guy that always wears his sunglasses over there.
Wait till they come off. I got the bug eye.
I don't give a fuck, man. She's pretty, man. She is pretty. And when that OnlyFans comes out, when the only thing she has left to sell is that pussy, I'll be lining up. I'm going to tell you something right now. I'll be there.
With my free trial.
That's right. Goddamn right. It's like my favorite porn site is Brazers because you could type the whole thing with your left hand. It's Brazers. That's why they did it. That's fucking great. That's brilliant.
What?
Brazers. Did you know that?
No.
You can type the whole thing with your left hand. You don't need your right
Oh,
hand
yeah.
to type. It's fucking great. Anyway.
Food for thought.
Let's you know a little bit about what I've been up to, right? Here, and where's my girl here? I always like putting her up.
Here comes the buns of steel.
Fuck. Every week we got to look at this girl. She's just, that's my girl right there, boy. That's Willow. That's Willow Ryder. She rides. Ha. Anyway, there's a DEI hire you can make use of. Anyway. What else you want to talk about, Walter? What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? You want to talk about Carmelo and not the guy who ruins my Knick dreams?
Carmelo Anthony, the guy who was going to save the Knicks. Wasn't he though? Wasn't he the guy that was going to save the Knicks?
Tell me how funny. I would have loved to see Carmelo Anthony's reaction waking up and hearing like, I stabbed somebody in the chest.
What?
Fake news.
I don't even know that white guy. Here, let's look at the other Carmelo.
Oh, it's with a K.
Yeah, it is. No, I know. I'm looking at the original Shatterer of Little White Boy Dreams. Because there he is, right? But didn't he win a championship with the Thunder and with Denver? Didn't he?
No, did he?
Let's take a look. Because just one more piece of the puzzle for why Walter is.
I don't
Walter.
think he won a championship.
I thought he did. I
mean, maybe makes sense.
I thought he did with Denver. No, I guess
know
not.
I know he didn't with New York.
Nope.
I don't think he won at
No,
all.
he never did. No, I'm looking here. It usually has a little. All right, hold on a second. Advanced. Oh, all this fucking bullshit. Just show me what I want to see. Playoffs. Yeah. No, he never won a championship. Well, at least he did you that courtesy. It didn't go like Bill Cartwright did and win it with another fucking team like so many Knicks before him.
Yeah, Porzingis is killing me.
Porzingis. Who was the Italian kid that they had last year that I liked? It's like the only white guy on the team. What was his name?
The Italian kid?
The Italian kid.
DiVincenzo?
DiVincenzo. I liked him. How's he doing this year?
I don't know.
What was his name? Vinny DiVincenzo, right? Something like that? Anthony DiVincenzo. So the Knicks had him from 26 to 32. Those are like your prime NBA years right there.
Hey, we're getting off topic here.
And he never started a full season for them. Just a fucking shame, isn't it? And who did they give up for him? Didn't they give up like this big package that brought Denver a championship after he left them?
Yeah, they got rid of like the core of their team.
They like to do that though, don't they? Didn't they do that at the end of this last season? Like,
They like to strip their cars for the best parts and sell them.
Yeah. Now we're only gonna give you the good shit, and we're only gonna take back your real shit. Like,
what are you trying to give us here?
this guy looks like he's got a couple of years left in him. No. You hang on to that. We'll see you in 4 years for him.
I don't need assets here.
Yeah. You guys think we want to win or something? There's more
Let's
money
not
in
jinx the
losing.
Knicks. Come on, Saturday. Let's go.
Saturday. Okay. Listen, you hang on to those dreams. Let's see. Traded by the Rockets. Here it is.
This is me.
3-team trade. Traded by the Denver Nuggets with Ronaldo Balkman, right? He was a good. Chauncey Billups, Anthony Carter, and Sheldon Williams. Those are some and a first-round pick to the Knicks.
Yeah, Ronaldo Balkman. I remember he was a
Chauncey Billups was a good player.
good role player.
Of course, what was he when he came to the Knicks? He was, what, about 40? Yeah. The Denver Nuggets, right? Yeah, I don't see any. Who is it?
Let's go to the more exciting Karmelo.
Okay, the one you can actually talk about. Okay. All right, so everybody knows about this kid, Carmelo Anthony. He killed this white kid, and it was bad. It was bad.
Oh, and you wanted to show the video of the other guy,
shit.
right?
Did I do that? God damn it!
What are you doing?
I erased. What an idiot!
Stupid.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna start tasing you under the table.
All right, let me go over here first. All right, let's get that out of the way there. All right. It's right here anyway. Yeah, this was the thing I wanted to. Where is that kid?
You closed the tab.
Yeah, I know. I closed them all. That's what the problem was.
Yeah, you should have it in
It
your
was
history.
cut to the chase. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's this guy. All right.
Ready?
Yeah, and I liked his take. At least we're gonna watch like the first 3 or 4 minutes of this. And this is a guy. It's called Cut to the Chase. I want to give credit to him because he put this together, and I actually like his opening perspective on this. But then he kind of loses me when he justifies the whole thing. So let's watch his beginning here.
Fam, this your boy Cut to the Chase TV. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and be sure to share this video. I got some news for you Negroes today. Carmelo Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf to death.
And for me and Walter.
Hey, you saw
Track
my
me, and the
23
moment
and
the
me.
news hit the internet, everybody became divided and two groups of people has formed. On one hand, you got people saying it's self-defense. Austin Metcalf grabbed Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony was in fear of his life, so he had the right to get a motherfucker up off him. Then on the opposite hand, you got people calling Carmelo Anthony a cold-blooded killer. He deserved to have the needle in his arm. How come he didn't listen to Austin Metcalf? If he would have removed himself from the tent like Austin told him to, none of this would have happened. I'm gonna say this about the whole situation. I think everybody's acting overly emotional, and I think everybody's racial bias is causing their views to be.
And I agree with this. And I didn't really even think about it until he said it. And I agree with what he's saying here. That that after it happened, everybody got very emotional, and their racial biases really did come into play. Like, not a lot of people were willing to listen to the facts. So, yeah.
I explain what I'm saying. Everybody's talking about race. Everybody pointing the finger at each other saying, you're racist. No, you're racist. Why are we speaking about race when none of the kids are racist? I looked at Carmelo Anthony background, tons of white friends. He go to an all-white school. He come from a 2-parent household. His family got a lot of money. It seemed like he was brought up the right way. And I looked at Austin Metcalf background. Sports, tons of black friends. Everything he posts on Twitter, he's talking to black kids. He reposting black athletes. He calling black kids his brother. So it don't seem like he was racist neither. But you got the adults in this whole situation talking about race. Carmelo Anthony parents ain't talking about race, and Austin Metcalf parents ain't talking about race. So how about...
Now, I only heard the initial conversation with Austin Metcalf's father, and he didn't mention race at all. He just asked, he said, I don't know why a kid would be bringing a knife to attract me, was his question. Mm-hmm. But I don't recall him saying, oh, that black kid, killed my white son or whatever. But I haven't really listened to any, I don't watch the news.
No, he just said everybody, seen it. People were there and they saw it. He didn't mention anything else.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. So in that respect, but I agree with what he's saying about everybody automatically went in one or two camps. And I agree with what he's about to say here too. Here we go.
Leave that out of this equation. Only thing I care about is right and wrong. And we're going to go down that rabbit hole right now. Because to be honest with you guys, I think Austin Metcalf played a role in his own demise. And I think Carmelo Anthony played a role in his own solitary confinement. And I explain. Let's start with Carmelo Anthony. It's raining at a track meet. You want to get out the rain. You go sit up on another team tent. You become approached. They tell you got to bounce. You don't belong here. Why you just didn't get up and leave? You know you was in the wrong. They caught you red-handed. They don't want you under their tent. You know the rules. You been running track. Get your ass up and leave. It ain't no argue. I'm not going anywhere. That's not how the world works. That's all I'm saying. And why did you have a knife in your backpack to begin with? Now, I'm not saying nobody should arm themselves, but nigga, you had a track meet in Frisco. Chances are you safe. You didn't need that knife. I'm just saying that. Let's go to Austin. It's raining. Carmelo Anthony goes up under your tent. You confront him. You tell him he got to bounce. Carmelo Anthony replies, I ain't going nowhere. The moment he tells you that, discussion is over with. You don't supposed to say nothing else back to him. You go get a resource officer. You go get a teacher. You go get your coach. You don't just grab him and try to remove him yourself, because at that point, he got the right to defend himself. That's all I'm saying. And as you can see, Carmelo Anthony.
See, and there's nothing wrong with what he's saying there. And when you take the racial element out of it, when you take that emotion out of it, what he's saying is perfectly rational. Mm-hmm. You know, like Carmelo shouldn't have been there. You know, he should have left when he was confronted, and Austin never should have grabbed him, right? So up to that point, I agree with this, you know, but the whole thing of bringing the knife in the first place, and who this kid was, and the troubles he's had, you know, like this is where we start to. I start to. That's great. I gotta play like 2 minutes more because I can see where he's going this way, and I think that he's letting his emotions out in this as well.
Fitting himself, and Austin Metcalf ends up dead. It's a whole uproar. Everybody's wondering, how could this happen? How did we get to this point? And I'm gonna tell you the real reason why this happened.
And this is true too, like what he says right here. This is it right here.
Ego, pride, immaturity, and the number one factor why this happened, they are kids. When I was 17,
not
another
just
kid
kids,
couldn't tell me to do shit.
But athletes. I got to be honest with you. I hated the jocks I went to school with. Like they were a bunch of douchebags, white and black. They were douchebags. Yeah. You know, I remember they got special treatment. They didn't have to do homework like I had to do. They didn't take. I remember one test in my history class when they were literally sitting there. My history teacher was the track coach. As a matter of fact, he was a track, and they were all sitting back there bullshitting when the rest of us are having a fucking test.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was on varsity B. That's why you still get along with me.
It surprises me that you played any sports at all in high school.
I played basketball.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you the only white kid on the team?
No, I played on varsity B. I wasn't varsity A.
I don't know what that even means.
Varsity A is like, you know,
the kids who can actually
team.
play.
Varsity B was like whoever didn't make
the
varsity
white and
A.
Jewish kids. They lower the baskets 2.5 feet. It's kind of like the WNBA of high school basketball.
We play with the WNBA balls.
They bounce higher. The rim is lower.
Every now and then, a teammate has a vagina.
Look, Irish Schwartz dunked.
Oh shit!
But now he goes on to make this thing like that. Austin, you know, this kid had every right to basically to do this because anything could happen, and I say no. The appropriate response is never to take a knife and put it into somebody's chest like that. Because either one of those kids could have easily cried out. But I understand where he's going with it. And I also understand this kid Carmelo's parents. This is your son. You don't want your son to go away. It was stupid. Mm-hmm. What this kid did was fucking stupid. And what should happen to him, in my opinion, is that they should throw the book at him. He straight up murdered this kid, right? Because this is why you don't bring a knife. It's like saying, you know, look, if I have a gun in school and I defend myself, it's wrong. depending on the thing. He does say something in here, like, what's the appropriate response? And he agrees with that, too. I don't want to listen to this anymore. Anyway. No, but I like his take on it, though. But I respect his take because he's being...
His was the most rational
he's
take.
He's being as objective as I've heard. Because I have heard people like right-wing white people talk, oh, you're not just kidding. Okay, all right. Because I agree. Like, these are kids. This wasn't a racial thing. Austin didn't go up to this kid because he was black and like, I'm gonna get you N-word, right? And Karmelo didn't react because he was white. Like, this was just two teenagers at a track meet trying to do the testosterone.
They were throwing up their tent sets.
That's all that shit was. It was two jocks being fucking asshole alpha males.
Yeah.
Ego.
Alpha ego.
What does road rage do? Is road rage, and this is really an incident of road rage. And this is what happens. This is why you don't do that shit, right? Because you don't know who has a weapon on them.
Yeah.
You know? And he is right. Like, Austin, Karmelo had a right to defend himself. But by defending himself, does that mean that you do this? And I say no. And I got to be honest. Like, my initial reaction to this, because this is all going to be racial. Like, it's going to be. If I was his attorney, that's the way I would go. I remember as a union steward, this kid. And I won't mention his name, but anyway, he was caught outside when it wasn't his break time. There was a particular manager that came in, a white guy. He was a manager. And he sees this guy smoking. It's a big black dude. And he was cool. I liked him. I got along with him, right? And he's smoking a cigarette on the loading dock. And this white manager drives his car in, right? And parks and sees him there and even waves, says hello. And then the white manager goes upstairs. He's like, I wonder if he's really supposed to be on break. And he looks. And he goes, no. In fact, he had a customer on hold, right? I was in customer service at 9X at the time. It was 9X then. It's Verizon now. He had a customer on hold for over 20 minutes. He just put the customer on hold.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what they're doing. He put the customer on hold. He went down. He's smoking a cigarette. Hey, how you doing? Is the supervisor? The kid's name was Curtis, and the supervisor was named Mike. Hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing? It didn't flinch. He didn't flinch. So when he comes back upstairs, Mike says, yeah, close your key, they used to call it, right? You turn your phone off, and you got to come in, right? And he says, get a store. And they used to call it, whatever. They used to call me the Jew. They said, go get the Jew, right? Because I got everybody off. Like, that's what I did. They said, and Curtis said, get the Jew, because I need representation, right?
You were the original bear Jew.
I was, listen, man. I went in there, and I the first question I asked was, what made you look? Well, because it was Curtis. What do you mean it was Curtis? And so what's my job? My job as a union steward is to get this person off. It's not right. Like, the people always say that about the law.
However way it works.
It's it. Listen, he was a very large man. Curtis was a big dude. But on top of that, I liked him. Like, Curtis was a good guy. He was a shitty employee, but he was a good guy. And so anyway, I said, so all right, look. So Curtis got suspended. He said they wanted to fire him, as a matter of fact. And so I did a little digging, and it turned out, like, you got to understand, I worked in a building. There's 750 representatives doing what we did. 750 people. The majority of which, like the overwhelming majority, like over 80% of which were women, right? Mostly black women. Like that was the number one, what do you call it? Like, of all the people that were there, it was mostly black women. After that, a lot of white women, obviously. And so like 80%, well, I mean, because there's a lot of women, right? It was over 80% women. So 20% men. And out of the 20% men, it was probably about like 55-45 black men to white men, I would say, maybe 50-50. I don't know. So there weren't a lot of black guys working there. Like, that's the point. Like, there weren't a lot of black men working there. And when I looked at this guy, Mike, when I looked at the people that he had suspended or reprimanded, every one of them was a black man. That's what I said. And I said, is that just a coincidence? I don't think so. And I brought it up. And as soon as I brought it up to Mike's supervisor, why she got so afraid that she said, "You can have Curtis come back tomorrow, and we'll make." It was called making him whole, right? Which means when you make somebody whole in every way. That's the way you used to write it on the grievance sheet, right? Made whole in every way. It meant he's going to get all his money back. He's going to get our apologies. And I went one step further, and I said, I think Mike should. It's my job. I said, I think Mike should have to take a course on how to deal with people, on racial sensitivity. And I did. Oh, he was pissed. He was pissed.
I thought you got him a private dance.
No. He's got to jerk Curtis off in front of the whole thing. Everybody in it. That's right. You jerk him off, Mike. That's what you deserve.
That's what I did.
But listen. As, people said it about Johnny Cochran, right? When if the glove don't fit, you might look. Justice has nothing to do with the legal process in America or any other place. It's not about what's right and wrong. It's about what you can do. We were watching something before. What was it? I don't even remember. But it was something that people are guilty of sin. But it doesn't matter. What's the lawyer going to say? They're going to say, well, my client was misunderstood. Because that's your job. Mm-hmm. Your job as an attorney, especially a defense attorney, is not to go in there going, well, I know my client did it, so we're not even going to put up a defense. Like, it doesn't work that way. That's not what you're being paid for. You're being paid. That's why they say, the justice system is skewed against black people. I don't believe that at all. Not even for a second. I don't believe that. What I do believe is that it's skewed against poor people. And a lot of black people are poor. Mm. And O.J. Simpson proved that the justice system isn't colorblind, but that the color it prefers is green, right? Because dude, if they had that kind of evidence against me, like no way I get away with killing those two people that O.J. Simpson got away with killing. No other black person does. If you don't have that kind of money, you don't for Shapiro and Cochran and Kardashian and F. Lee Bailey and like he had the dream team, right? Dude, your white ass would still be in jail. Mm. You'd still be in jail. Like there's no fucking you were what 3 when that happened? I think so.
Which OJ?
OJ.
It was 94.
94, I believe. Yeah, 93, 94.
No, it was like 7, 8.
Oh. Anyway. So
I was old enough to see gloves not fitting.
I understand. Well, that was the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like they were perfectly fitting glove, and he already had a glove on, and it's leather, which shrinks, right? So just the idiots. And that was another look. DEI. You want to talk about DEI right here? Here. I'm going to show you DEI. This is like one of the original DEIs, and this is OJ prosecution team. Yeah, OJ. Right? Here are the original prosecutors, okay? Yeah. Uh-huh. There you go. DEI. Yeah, oh, definitely. That's a great idea. Have him try the glove on. Yeah. Leather doesn't shrink, and it'll fit perfectly over that other plastic glove he's got on his hand.
Let him handle it.
Right, yeah. That's a great idea. Well, was it Marsha Clark and Chris Darden? Wasn't that their names?
No, I was 7 or 8.
I
was worried about going into medieval times.
Didn't she start fucking one of the Fernandez brothers? What are they?
Sounds about right.
Fernandez. What was their name?
The ones that killed the parents?
Yeah. Oh, no, they're really good boys now. they wouldn't let them out of jail. Yeah. Oh, they were misunderstood. Their father really did rape them. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Uh-huh.
They went on a spending spree.
Yeah. They did. But they did a thing on them on Netflix. This is totally off the subject, I know, but what the fuck? We got time to kill here.
We go off the rails all the time.
Yeah, it's all right. This is part of what we do here. But my friend Peter, he was like, oh no, I think that. I said, well, do you remember the original justification why they said these kids did it? Well, no. Well, the one kid, the older one that was going to Princeton at the time, his father, he wanted a Porsche. And his father said, no, I bought him an Alfa Romeo instead of a Porsche.
Oh.
Right. And he fucking hated him for it. So one of the first things he did when he got the millions done, he bought his own Porsche. Like, there you go, you fuckhead. You know,
I'd fucking run him over with that car.
Yeah.
Piece
Poor
of
guy,
shit.
right? Poor guy. Italian piece of shit. I want a German motherfucker.
Who's the guy got to kill for a Porsche around here?
Apparently him, right?
Dad, you're top of the list.
Yeah. Look at this. Yeah, get it. Okay, yeah.
I thought they said the father molested them or something.
That he out and out raped them, and he used to rape them on a regular. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. All of a sudden, there's new evidence coming out, and these family members who say, "Oh yeah, now I remember." You know, like what did they like fucking rape them at family picnics? Hey, everybody, look at this! I'm fucking my boy.
We're really testing that YouTube.
Yeah. Hey, get the fuck out of here with that shit. No, but it's so ridiculous to me that anyway. Yeah, I guess we got to be careful with that.
Who's next on my boy?
Come on, light up. His tickets, you get your little ticket counter. Now serving number 57. That's
really
57.
He's really been marinating all day.
Yeah. Oh, I got number 111. Boy, it's real sloppy by the time I get there. Good thing I got my galoshes on. Yeah. Oh. So anyway, Karmelo. I just hope I was saying when we got way off of this, right? When this initially happened, right? Because what really gets me is the people that automatically believe that this kid is innocent, right? Oh, let him go, right? And I'm going to tell you, there are black racists out there, and yes, black people can definitely be racist because racism is based on hating somebody because of the color of their skin, right? For whatever reason. But there are people out there, and I know these people. Like I've represented these people as a union steward. I work with a lot of black people who hate white people, and openly too. And I always appreciated it. There were a couple that come to mind that would say, yeah, I don't like you, but you got to defend me. And I know one guy's doing a lot of time right now. He got caught with a loaded .45 in the truck, and real idiot. Anyway. Brain fart. Oh, so there are people out there who are happy to see this kid get away with it, who know this kid murdered this other kid, right? Who know Karmelo murdered Austin and are happy about it and are happy to see him get away with it, to see a black guy get away with killing a white guy. And I believe that. I believe
he
that
took
with all my
sticking
heart.
it to the man to another level.
But he's not sticking it to the man. He's sticking it to a child, to a kid. I mean, they were both kids, and that's why I agree with this guy. Like, and we're gonna all see this through the lens of race, and that's not. You're never gonna see justice if you only see this through a lens of race and not through the lens of what it really was. And that's two stupid kids going at each other, because that's exactly what it was. It's two stupid jock alpha male kids. Pissing like it was a pissing contest.
Yeah, how many school fights are there during the year?
That's it. And Karmelo
how many
won,
of them get out of hand?
Enough.
I'm sure enough.
But enough of them do, and Karmelo was where he shouldn't have been. Austin put his hands on him, which he shouldn't have done. Like, I agree with all that, but that doesn't justify it, because you still got to say to yourself, what the fuck is this kid bringing a knife to this place for? And right there, you broke the rules. Right there, you broke the rules. You don't do that shit, all right? There were teachers. I agree. Austin, you got to move from here. I'm not moving. Okay, I'm going to go get a teacher, right? But what does that make you? A bitch.
Rat bitch.
Right, you're a bitch. Now you're a bitch. Oh, you got to go get a fucking teacher? Why, you can't handle me yourself? Like, I could see that shit coming up. Like, and it's not.
Plus, he had, like, his people with him. So
right,
he
so he didn't want to look like a cunt, And
he felt more,
At ease, let's just say. At ease. He felt at ease. Right. Now, and it was a mixed race school, so I'm sure like it's a track and field event, not the stereotype, but I'm sure there were black kids on Austin's, track and field team, so it wasn't like it was all white people, right? my initial thing was like, eventually you're going to hear how Austin muttered the N-word under his breath so only Carmelo could see it, and it made him feel uncomfortable. So, of course, he had to plunge a knife into his fucking heart, you know? Like, that's just ridiculous.
Maybe he saw fangs.
But there are people that are going to buy that shit, and I don't know what happened with the GoFundMe shit. I don't know anything about that. Something about his parents bought a house or something. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, his parents are thieves. There are plenty of thieves. Black, white, I don't give a fuck. Elizabeth Holmes stole $9 billion as we saw. She bought a house too. You know, like, I don't have, you know, look, whatever, man, whatever. Some people are giving them the money. They bought a house. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I don't give a fuck about that. I got to be honest with you. Listen, people gave the money to them. I think you're crazy for giving the money. You know, like, and that tells me right there that what the outcome that you want and what you want to believe before you see. Like, you talk about other people run into judgment. You're running into judgment. Automatically, this is okay. And can you imagine if it had been reversed? If Austin had approached this kid and pulled out a knife and stabbed the kid in the chest, like, holy shit. And rightfully so. Like, you're not allowed to do these things. It's, you know, society has certain rules that make for a decent and good society. And that's one of them. You don't go stabbing people in the heart over some bullshit, right? Like, it's just a rule of thumb, right? I don't know where that comes from. Rule of thumb. Okay, stabbing people in the heart, bad. Yeah. Like in the Terminator.
Can you repeat that?
Right, with Terminator 2, right, where he says you're not allowed to kill people, and he shoots him in the kneecaps, and right goes, "They'll live," right? You know, and he went right for the heart. It's not like he just brandished the weapon, said, "Back off, motherfucker," right? Which you would really think, like, even if you had, like, that's what this kid. It seems to me like he was looking for trouble. You know, he didn't just take it out and say, "Come on, you know, back up, motherfucker." No, he took the fucking knife out and said,
The knife does damage.
Yeah.
Knife does real damage.
Especially if you plunge it into somebody's chest.
You could have like a taser or a brass knuckle, or, you know, and you probably have a better chance of running away.
Dude, even to stab him in the stomach, like he put it through his heart.
Yeah, he mainlined him.
Dude, you had to aim for that shit. And you had to thrust. There's a rib cage. You got to get through the rib cage. Yeah, I know that kid Austin. I'm going to kill that motherfucker.
He had a pillow with Austin's face on it. He's just fucking practicing.
Cracker, motherfucker, yeah.
He practiced in the mirror. He would turn around, look in the mirror, and be like, "Do it again, one more time."
Listen, at the end of the day, this is just a really tragic story for everybody involved. Like, this isn't going to end well for Karmelo, you know. Unless he gets on the We Hate Whitey tour with some of the black racists and shit.
Might as well.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to. It's going to be his only way he's ever going to, you know. He went to a good school. He was raised in a good neighborhood. Like, that's what this guy's talking about. Like, basically, for all intent and purposes, he was raised white, you know. He was with what we would consider white privilege, right? You know, and here he is, you know, and look. And his life is never going to be the same. Austin's family, God bless him. I lost my kids in an accident. So, you know, I know how that feels to lose your kids. And it's such a senseless loss. You know, and here, to me, I don't care that Austin was a straight A student and all that other shit. Yeah, okay, great. But would it have been any worse if he was a C student? You know, would we be any less, like, appalled by this? No. It just, you know, took one of the good white people out of society is kind of like the message that's given there. Yeah. Anyway, so did we cover that one thoroughly?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it's 2:00. What do we got? We did Elizabeth Holmes.
We probably had 30 minutes of troubleshooting.
Was it that? No, I don't think it was that long. Good free help is so hard to find. That's not true. I got you the hat, though. I feel better about that. I like the hat too much, though, man. I really do. I fucked up. I got to buy, if I ever get you a hat in the future, it's got to be an ugly one. It's got to be like I look at it and go, I don't want that anyway. I got that one, right?
Yeah.
That was, for Christmas.
That's God saying, "Fuck you" on the Knicks.
I think God already did that.
Yeah.
He did it to him, though. No, listen. That when the Knicks traded Walt Frazier to Cleveland, That's when God took a deep shit on the Knicks. Was when they banished Walt Frazier to Cleveland.
So we got that Boston curse. The curse
Yeah,
of the
even worse
Bambino.
because it's Cleveland. Although Boston sucks too. Did you see this? People were talking about the legacy media. Now it's another tangent, right? With Michelle Wu, who is their mayor, right? And people talk, oh, the legacy media. Like I saw what Trump did. He torched that Caitlin Collins, right? Because she's such a cunt, man. What a miserable woman she just looks like. This woman never smiles. And she's married to a dude, but she looks like a frustrated lesbian. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Now, you got to see this. Hold on. Caitlin Collins gets torched. Watch this. I'm going to play this. Because they got the guy from El Salvador. The president of El Salvador was here. And this guy's a pisser, man. He's like a fucking right-wing lunatic. he is. He's a South American Adolf Hitler, man. He's fucking crazy, right? Caitlin Collins Trump here. This is the clip right here. And they just fucking torched this woman, right? You didn't see this clip? This is great. Hold on, let's play this. All right.
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CB.
Thank you, President. Do you plan to ask President Bukele to help return the man who your administration says was mistakenly deported? The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador?
Maryland dude?
Well, let me ask Pam, would you answer that question?
Sure, President. First and foremost, he was illegally in our country.
So will you return him, President Bukele?
You are
But I
doing-
want to see the whole clip because this 1 minute is not going to do it justice. Because they fucking roasted this poor girl, right? And she had it coming because she's just being she was being a cunt, you know. Just let's just say what it is, you know. I wish you could just see the whole clip. It was great though. I love. Oh, that's us. Hold on.
Oh, they're covering it.
Here, we'll play. This one looks like the shortest.
Met with the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, at the Oval Office today, where
Right.
they discussed deportation, terrorism, and tax.
Right, so this is the president of El Salvador, who's done a great job there. And he points out what a great job he's done, because he's kind of like the South American Donald Trump, you know? Or is that Central America? Whatever. He's fucking south of here.
that affect both nations. But instead of the leaders getting into a tussle, which is often the case at these Oval Office meetings,
Fuck you.
President Trump's target was none other.
Now, look at it. That's the first time I've ever seen her smile in anything. Tell me she doesn't look like a lesbian. She looks like she should be, and she's attractive. I'm not saying she's not attractive, but she's just got that lesbian
She's got
vibe
a
to her.
Caitlin Clark thing going.
Yeah, it's the haircut, it's the buff body, and nothing wrong with it. You know, she's very attractive. If she was gay, I would like to watch the pictures of her and her lover. You know, because she looks like a woman who's not going to sleep with ugly chicks, but she just has that frustrated lesbian look to her. You know, like I really want to be eating turf, but you know, for whatever reason, when my mother dies, I can finally eat pussy. Like, you know.
For now, I'm not invited
Yeah.
to the family gatherings.
No, she wants to stay invited. That's what it is, you know. So she's married to a guy, or he says he's a guy. I don't know. Who knows? All these things these wacky kids do today. Anyway, so this is her, right?
And CNN reporter.
And she has a history with Trump.
Who was ripped to shreds
Oh,
by
really?
Trump and
Yeah.
his administration after asking a very bizarre question about the deportation of an alleged.
And you know this guy, right? He was he was deported.
The Maryland guy?
Yeah, from
What about him?
Maryland, and he wasn't supposed to be deported. They fucked up the
Yeah,
paperwork.
I
or
heard
anything.
about that.
But since they found out, like his wife had 2 orders of protection put against him, he was an MS-13 member. All this bullshit.
okay.
Right? People, he was acquitted of that. Whatever. 2 courts said, yeah, he was definitely a member. They just, whatever. So they deported him, and now he's in prison in El Salvador.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the criminals come to El Salvador, they took him off the fucking plane in shackles.
My
and
wife
brought
was
him right to
telling me
jail.
that they were just taking people off the
Yeah.
street in El Salvador.
That's it.
They would check it if you had a tattoo. They checked it right
Done.
away. They
Done.
fucking put you
You're
right
done.
away.
And he'll talk about it. Hold on. Hopefully it's in this
to El
clip.
Salvador.
Return the man who your administration says was mistakenly
Which one is that?
deported. The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador.
Why is that all fucked up?
I don't know. It's check the cable there.
Let me ask Pam, would you answer that question?
Sure, President. First,
It just started doing that.
he was illegally in our country.
I don't know if it's just this part.
Been illegally in our country, and in 2019, two courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he wasn't.
That's not acceptable.
Because the narration sounded fine. I don't know if it got messed up with their audio.
Oh, that could be. But I've heard this clip before, and I've heard it with better audio than that.
Oh, it could be me and my fucking shitty ass.
Let's hear the question from this.
Yeah, this is
very
better.
low-rated anchor at CNN. Low-rated. You know, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. How long do we have to answer this question from you? Why don't you just say?
She's just a miserable woman. I didn't know she had a reaction.
I didn't know she was
Why aren't they
capable of
playing
one.
it? Just get to it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear music. What are they trying to
Right, I don't
copyright
know.
me, you motherfucker? This
What are they
Caitlin
doing? What the
Clark
fuck are
ass
you doing?
bitch. Where's Angel Reese when you need one?
Exactly.
Do, do, do,
Is this all they're gonna do here?
do, do, do.
Oh Jesus, that was disappointing, wasn't it?
What did you put on?
Come on, man. I'm telling. Yesterday, I go looking for this. There's a million clips on it.
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CB.
Thank you,
at
President.
CNN.
Do you plan to ask President?
What are these people doing to me?
You get a piece and then a slideshow. That's it.
What the fuck?
On Monday.
I wonder if
President Trump
CNN
welcomed
copyrighted
El
everybody on this. Maybe CNN had the only clip. No, there were other cameras there. What the fuck? Anyway, this really pisses me off.
This really grinds my gears. Let's go over to that.
Well, this was it. Oh no, that was the other. Hold on, we'll get to that in a minute. Hold
grind
on.
my gears is grinding my gears.
I would think that Sky News would have had it. The whole clip was just so worthy of watching this. Hold on, maybe this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got an update today. The El
don't wanna hear you
Salvadorian
either.
president, Bukele, was visiting the Oval Office in Donald Trump.
Depressed Ginger, that's this guy's name.
Question came up. Of course, it was Caitlin Collins trying to do the whole I gotcha onto Trump and the administration because of a deported person that the Trump administration thought was a gang member in 2019. There were some people that thought
So he was.
the individual might have been related
Yeah,
to
he
a
was.
gang,
All right,
and
so
they
whatever.
said that it was an administrative error. And so we'll go ahead and play these different clips.
Why
Go ahead.
don't you?
Ask President Bukele, what is your, can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to have suggested that I smuggle terrorists into the United States, right?
It's always
how
CNN.
can I smuggle? How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So you can release him inside El Salvador?
Yeah, but I'm not releasing. I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the
right. And what he's saying.
You heard that, right? We're the safe. We went from the murder capital of the world to the safest country in the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to release this guy? Like, what are you, fucking crazy? And it was after Trump burnt this girl, right? Like, and they can't get enough abuse, these people. You know, this is the hill they want to die on. Is why is this suspected MS-13? And again, who the fuck cares if he is or not? Oh, he was a good father from Maryland. whose wife took out 2 orders of protection against him. 2 orders of now she signed an affidavit saying he was such a great father, and they're like, really? So did you lie before when you asked for the 2 orders of protection?
Who's paying
He's such a
you,
great
bitch?
fucking right. Like he's such a great fucking father. Oh, we want him back. You know.
That's it. You know what you get?
Get more welfare. There you go.
That's what you get.
Anyway, I don't want to watch this ginger. Who the fuck?
The president turned around and
Gingers
said,
are soulless. Yeah, there you go.
"You're done."
See, Walter's got this new toy that he's fucking with these things, but he can't really control it, though, can you, Walter?
Well, you know, I'm finding my moments. I'm not trying to crowbar it in.
I wish I had the whole thing, man, because it was just so good. Now, let's try this one.
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CNN. Low-rated.
Low rated.
Which one is that? Well, let me ask Pam. Would you answer that question?
Sure,
Tell him,
President.
Pam.
First and foremost, he was illegally in our country.
Fuck him.
He has been illegally in our country. And in 2019, 2 courts, an immigration
See,
court
this is
and
so we're all worried and upset about somebody who may. Oh, but you don't. He was here illegally. He came here at 16 illegally. All right, he gained citizenship somehow or status. Asylum status, I think, is what he finally gained. But then they showed he was part.
But then you gotta be
I don't
graceful.
fucking care,
when
man.
you're here, you gotta be graceful.
That's
you can't
it.
be beating bitches up.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you own them bitches,
You would have stayed
that's
here.
right. Go make me a chicken pot pie. Pa!
immigration court ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our
2
country.
courts.
Right
There you go.
now, it was additional paperwork had needed to be
So
done.
we fucked up a little.
That's up to
It's not like it was a white guy.
If they want
Come
to
on,
return
man.
him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs. If they wanted
She points to
return
Marco
him,
Rubio. This
we
is
would
on you.
facilitate it,
These are your
meaning
people.
Provide a plane.
So will you return him?
Will you return him?
Will you return him?
Thank you, Pam.
I didn't get
Stephen Miller,
an
wait a
answer.
minute. Could you just also respond to that question? Because, you know, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also, please?
Yes. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own
He
citizens.
just basically called her an arrogant cunt. You know, like.
As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization,
There you go.
that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States.
Right. You're a cunt. You're not an idiot.
Had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States, and had to be returned because of the foreign
So what are you
terrorist
saying, Mr.
designation.
Miller?
This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly
9-0.
that neither
So that
Secretary of State
includes all the chicks that are on the fucking Supreme Court who shouldn't be there because women just should not be judges. So, let the hate mail roll in.
forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which is
Member
I'm sure
of
you
MS-13.
understand,
Those
rapes
are
little
bad
girls,
people.
Murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
Ah, come on, tomato, tomato.
And what was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0
In our favor.
in our favor against the district court ruling, saying that no district
Listen,
court has the
you
power.
can say what you want about Trump, and this is what the left did to me. This is what the left did. Like I'm a union guy, right? I like Bill Clinton. Like, you know, I go back. They made me like this guy. That's what the left did. In 2016, I said I didn't vote in 2016 because I said Clinton, Trump, no difference between the two of them, right? I didn't like either one of them. In 2020, they gave me Joe Biden with his fucking dementia-ridden brain already because we knew it in 2020 when he ran, right? And so I did vote for Donald Trump. I voted for him. But I didn't do it feeling good about it. But I said, you can't have this guy. This guy's got no fucking brain. He couldn't leave. He didn't even have to travel because of the pandemic, and he still didn't know what fucking state he was in. So like, Joe, you're in your basement in Delaware.
You saw the recent one where he popped up recently?
Oh, yeah, at Harvard.
And he didn't stop talking when the music was on.
Yeah, the music's going, and Joe's just like, okay, I'm going to give my speech now. Right, so that's what you did in 2020. By 2024, you had me rooting for this guy, right? I became a fan, and I can say it's a fan because that's exactly what it is. Like, he won me over with all this ridiculousness. And when you look at it, this guy has been the only champion for the working people. Like, that's it. I remember going back in the 96 election, and we were supporting Bill Clinton, and I remember asking then, I asked my business agent, her name was Paula, and I won't say her last name, right? Anyway, Paula. And I said, she says, well, we were doing phone banking for Clinton right through my local. I was Communication Workers of America 1105 at the time, and I was a steward. She said, well, we're doing phone banking for Clinton. I'm like, but he gave us NAFTA. Like, NAFTA fucked the unions. Well, yeah. And she says, yeah, but other than that, he's pro-union. I'm like, that's like telling me that other than the fact that this motherfucker killed your whole family, he's really not a bad guy, and he's really cool to, like, have barbecue and beers with. Like, that's insane. Like, they fucking gutted the unions and the manufacturing here in the country. And now what is Trump comes along and says, look, man, we want to bring manufacturing back. And people are beefing with that. Oh, tariffs. Oh, my God. Oh, my cheap Chinese shit's going to go up in price. See, here you have union people, like working people in America going, we love slave labor. We just don't want it in our own country, right? We don't mind it in China or Mexico, right? In Mexico, we're in the Silverado plant where Chevy makes a Silverado. They're paying them $8 to $35 a day, right? I got to find that whole thing, too, from the Detroit Free Press. But this is, it's slave labor. It's fucking slave labor. And we're okay with it as long as we don't have it here, So technically, we're not really involved in it. Oh, okay. All right. Sure. That sounds good. But anyway, so you made me a fan. And when he burns people like this who just don't give a fuck, they hate those. I hate those. Well, why? Like, there was a thing I saw on the economics of what those... Every day when we wake up, we pay like $100 billion in fucking interest on the money that we owe. So like every day, Elon Musk would have to cut $100 billion just to get the interest off that we're paying for that day on the national debt. People going, well, we need this. We need this program. For what? Like the helping gay Buddhist monks in Tibet? Like, who the fuck cares? And people, it's like, look, when they come to America for money, right? Is Ukraine wants another $300 billion, and we ain't got no money in Ukraine. It's like talking to a crackhead, right? And the crackhead goes, yo, you got any money, man? And you go, I got this credit card. And they go, oh, good. Is there any room on it? Because that's what Ukraine does to us. Is Ukraine comes and says, yo, man, just put it on the credit card. It's cool. There's room. They'll keep giving you money, and that's what it's like. It's like, dude, enough. Like, we can't afford this shit anymore. We don't have the money. And people say, oh, you do. You're the richest country in the world. No, we're not really. Not when you look at our fucking debt, And then you have people like this who just don't give a shit. What happened?
Solely stated that if this individual, at El Salvador's sole discretion, was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
Right.
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador.
Right.
That is the president of El
Right.
Salvador. Your questions about it for the court can only be directed to him.
¿Usted lo liberaría, presidente Bukele?
Can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to not suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right?
It's only
how can I smuggle? How can I return him?
Trump loves this guy, right?
Smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle?
So they both just called her a stupid cunt, right? They both just fucking.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing. I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into
I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people. Mark, do you have something to say about
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin. Except for Venezuela, that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
And that's what the Supreme Court held, by the way, to Marco's point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function.
So there.
We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women and children.
And somebody made a good point
his
with
policy
some of
is
this shit.
foreign terrorists.
When you hear these people talking about these things, right? Like this woman, Caitlin Collins, right? And she's a wealthy white woman, probably living in New York, right? I would guess, or Washington, D.C. But she's not living in the hood. Mm-hmm. She's living in a place that is unaffected by this bullshit. That is absolutely unaffected by any of these things. The migrants, all that shit. She's not affected by it. Like, none of this stuff affects her. You look at Chicago, right? I saw a guy. There was a thing talking about migrants and everything, and I see a black dude in the crowd, and it says Chicago flips red. Right, and he's a black dude from the South Side, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna guess, right? The constituents in Chicago were screaming for Mayor Johnson in Chicago to do something about these migrants, because these migrants are hurting the people, the citizens of Chicago. They're taking away valuable services, valuable assets from American citizens in Chicago. And haven't poor black people been beaten up enough? Like now because they're not stepping and fetching fast enough, right? And too many of them are voting red. We got to bring more people in here to make sure that we can keep voting blue. Mm-hmm. And that's what all this shit is about. You talk about that they were flying these migrants in. I forget the guy's name. I watch him. He's anyway. He was talking about landing on a flight in Fresno one night back during the Biden administration, and he says he landed at 1 o'clock in the morning. He came in, and he says, there were 3 planes unloading of all these migrants, and he said he felt so sorry for these people because they were all fucking poor Mexican, but they do it specifically at night. Like, they're all coming in after 1 o'clock, and they're flying them into very specific areas. And why? Well, it's targeted. It's targeted for this, and it's not going to affect the Nancy Pelosi's. It's not going to affect these rich white liberal people, right?
Not negatively, at least.
It's not going to impact.
It affects them positively.
Well, it can only have a positive impact because they know that it's not going to they're not going to be in their building, let's say. Mm-hmm. So they don't really have to worry about it. And if it comes to their neighborhood, they'll make those anonymous calls to the police. There's a very unsavory man out in front of my building.
Jose,
get rid of him.
He's way too early to cut my grass.
Yeah. Well, and nobody makes a big thing.
He's gonna wash the toilets.
Democrats have forgot what their base was, and that was what I was saying before. Like, they forgot, like, the working man made the modern Democratic Party what it was. Because if you go back in the history of the Democratic Party, it's extremely racist, right? They developed the Ku Klux Klan came from the Democratic Party, right? All of these negative things came from the Democratic Party. A lot of the Democrats, segregation. That's what it is. Segregation. You look at segregation in the South, and that was all Democrats. That was George Wallace and Al Gore Sr. and William Fulbright. Like, they were all segregationists. Robert Byrd, segregate. Like, these were all very prominent Democrats, and they talk about, it was a great, all these Democrats that became Republicans because it could still be racist. There was one Democratic senator that became a Republican. That was Strom Thurmond. One, and they talk about it. But, you know, all these other people, they got on board because, you know, it's what happened afterwards, after the civil rights movement, when these Democrats herded black people into ghettos. They herded them into projects, you know, and just kept them down. And they redlined it. They, you know. Anyway, and this, you know, I tell you again, we won't even go down that. Anyway, so this is what happened here with this was they burnt Caitlin Collins and you know, but this woman doesn't give a shit. Like, she'll come back like she won something here. You see how they treated me? Yeah, they treated you like you're a cunt, you know?
You never knocked me down, Ray.
Yeah.
You never knocked me down.
Raging Bull, yeah?
Yeah.
Took a dive. He took a dive. Another De Niro great. Yes. He was one of our first bitch of the week, Overhill bitch of the week. Please go away. That's what that was. And we got another one, right? What time is it anyway?
It's 2:32.
So we got time yet. Excuse me.
There goes the camera.
Follows me, yeah.
It's going to follow you into the kitchen. It even follows your drink.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Very cinematic.
Anyway, Overhill bitch of the week.
Is that what we're doing?
Well, why not?
Who is the Overhill bitch of the week?
Queers for Palestine.
Yeah, let's just go right into it.
Queers for Palestine. The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen is Queers for Palestine.
Talking about oxymoron.
Yeah. And
really capitalize that moron.
I hope I saved it anyway. There was
got our fingers crossed.
Hold on, maybe it's in the history. Because there were a couple of things that, because what I looked up, right? So I see this Queers for Palestine, and I have to laugh because people will follow anything, right? They'll follow absolutely anything. And here it is. Yeah, this is first and foremost. Now this is an imam talking about how Sharia looks at homosexuality, right? And this whole thing, now you see some of these kids being interviewed with Queers for Palestine, and you say to them, do you understand who you're supporting? And I'm going to say, look, I know where I am politically. I'm a supporter of the state of Israel, right? And I understand people, look, everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? I'm sitting here how many thousands of miles away? Okay. You know, this is when I talk about fighting a war, right? And people say, oh, do you understand? They're killing children. It's a genocide. Well, it's not. If it's a genocide, it's not a very good one. Because genocide is like an annihilation of a group of people. You can go look at in Serbia, they had a genocide, and they took that pretty seriously. They took that word pretty seriously, right? As far as war is concerned, this is how you fight a war, right? October 7th happened. And again, so, it's the only way that, whatever. I'm not saying anything, but this is the fact of war, right? When you punch somebody in the face, don't be surprised when they punch you back, okay? That's just the way that goes. And I'm talking from a complete aspect of fighting, right? So let's just look at this real quick, because I say, okay, that's where, she's so pretty. I love that girl. I really do. All right, now here, I'm going to show you something. Guess, you know what that is? That's Tokyo after World War II. Not Hiroshima or Nagasaki. That's Tokyo, which we didn't drop an atomic bomb on. What we dropped were incendiary bombs because it was all made of wood, and we knew it. Now, you think they said, well, Jesus.
Is this town made of wood?
Not just that. I don't think there's any women or children down in Tokyo. No, I don't think there's any women and children living there at all. But that's Tokyo, right? And I look at that. That's Tokyo. That's the aerial. And this is the decimation right here. They fucking flattened everything in here. There's another shot, right? What is that? Could that be children? Yeah, fucking, like they just, all of these people, these were all civilian deaths. Like that's how war goes, right? This idea of tactical war, all right? Now this, just to show that they don't just do it to, Chinese or Asian people, rather. They're not Chinese, they're Japanese. To non-whites, let's call it. This is Dresden. This is Dresden after the bombing, right? Again, they dropped incendiary bombs. Now, if you, it's hard to see, but all of these buildings are all hollow. Now, they had more brick in Dresden than they did in Tokyo. That's why some of these appear to be standing, but they're not. Everything here is hollowed out. They bombed out every fucking building in Dresden. Like, it was leveled. They lost like 80% of the population of Dresden was annihilated in the bombing leading up to the end of the war, right? So that's Crazy Eyes. We saw her before. That's how you fight a war. That's how you fight a war, right? You kill the enemy. You kill the enemy wherever they are, And again, right or wrong, I don't know. Gaza, yeah, women and children are dying. Okay, all right, and you started a war. You went in there on October for whatever reason, right? I don't give a fuck. But it's a war. It's a war. You're in an admitted war. And who's right, who's wrong? I don't know. You killed their women and children. They're killing yours. They're more efficient at it. And again, people hate Jews because they're more efficient than other people, right? Why are they so good at banking? I don't know, but they are. It's just the way it is. But you can't go into a war and then be surprised. So, they're killing women and children. You know what happens when you don't fight a war properly? You're in Vietnam. You're in Afghanistan. That's what happens. Tactical bombing, right? It doesn't work. Tactical killing doesn't work. You don't win a war that way. You get into this bullshit, right, that we're in right now in Israel and Palestine. This is bullshit. It's never going to fucking end. There's going to be no two-state solution. It's not going to work. I'm fucking 62 years old now. Every president in my lifetime, from Kennedy on up, has tried to broker some kind of fucking deal. And short of killing every last one of one side or the other, it's never going to be peaceful. They're never going to accept it, right? These people can't live together. And whatever it is, I don't know what the solution is. Let them duke it out. And I'm all for, hey, look, pull out the U.S., pull out all aid. Let them go at it and see what happens. Okay? Fair enough. But to say that, we condemn this. So we have these queers for Palestine, right? Because women and children are being killed. This is people, number one, who don't understand war at all. Because that's how wars are fought. This is war right here. This is Dresden. 80% of the population killed in Dresden, right? Women, children, men, old men, right? Dead. Yeah? That's the way you fight a war. So now I say, okay, so these queers for Palestine have chosen a side. They said that the Israelis are bad. Okay, all right, well, that may be. But now who are you supporting? And that's where you got to get into this. Like, what is, you say, oh, no, that's just, because I've actually heard this. I heard somebody once told me, talking, and argue. because I don't argue with lunatics. And that's exactly what you're arguing with, right? So this woman who told me that it was just Jew propaganda that says that Islam hates homosexuals. I'm like, okay, like how are you going to argue with that? All right, okay. The Taliban is very open and accepting of progressive ideas, I guess. I misread that in the New York Times when they talked about when the Taliban took over in Iran, when they were throwing fucking gay people off of building rooftops and shit like that. I guess that was a misprint. I don't know. Or maybe for that one day the New York Times was leaning right, I guess. I don't know. But this guy explains it. This is what it says. Right?
Ruling in Islam. And this is sort of the clear and unambiguous and something that no Islamic scholar or mainstream masjid or institution would deny. Number one, that in Islam, any sexual relationship outside of nikah between a man and a woman is haram. Number two, desires are not sinful, nor should people be identified or ostracized.
What happened?
Sorry.
What are you doing, Walter?
Go ahead. I was trying.
No, it's still
I'm
not.
trying to get rid of the
Don't worry about it. It's there. It's not that long.
that buzz. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
an hour and a half in, he wants to get rid of the buzz.
I've been trying. Go ahead. Oh, I fucked it all up.
Well, nor should people be identified
Now
or
we only have
ostracized.
one channel.
All right. Give me a second.
Oh God.
Go ahead.
It's not. Anyway, it's haram, which is it's against the Islamic law. Right now, as far as the penalties are concerned for what that brings with it, right? Okay, now we can go ahead and we can just take a look here and say Hamas. All right. Now, here it talks about LGBTQ rights in oh, this was one of the articles I looked at because it was hysterical, because they even blame Hamas's reaction to homosexuals on Israel.
They don't know any better.
Yeah. Let's see. The Palestinian Authority has not legislated either for or against homosexuality. Legalistically, the confused legal legacy of foreign occupation, going back to the Ottoman Empire, right? That they blame the fact that Palestine has outlawed it originally on the British because they didn't change the law in 1948 when they handed it over to Israel. So that's what they claim was. So it comes down to that, right? So now here it says, as of August 2019, the Palestinian Authority announced that LGBTQ groups were forbidden to meet in the West Bank on the grounds that they were harmful to the higher values and ideals of the Palestinian society. So you're forbidden to do this. And when they forbid something over there, it's not like here where we forbid you to do that, and and we'll go to court. No, it doesn't really work that way for them. Yeah, and that was another thing here, that these Palestinians are seeking asylum in Israel. In Israel, gay Palestinians are going to Israel for asylum. But those Israelis, they're horrible people, and this is really all their fault, right? Now here, scholar Temia, whatever the fuck, has stated that in Gaza, coming out is a death sentence because police do not act against queer-phobic violence. Domestic violence is not criminalized, and civil society organizations which protect women and children are reported to be vulnerable to attack. This vulnerability has been exploited by Israel, right? It's Israel's fault, right? They exploited this, noting a connection between the Israeli occupation, lack of security and protection for women and non-heterosexual people. So basically, the Israelis were responsible, they're saying, because gay Palestinian people were not being protected enough against their own people in Palestine, right? Or what you call Palestine, right? In Gaza, in the West Bank. It's Israel's fault because they should have been protecting them more. And this goes on because I saw some more of it down here where they blame Israel because basically what they did was that some of these people that sought asylum, the Israelis used them as like double agents, as spies, and said, "Look, man, we'll keep this to ourselves if you go and spy for us." That's how spying works, right? There isn't a country on the face of the earth that doesn't have spies. So they blackmail these. That's a spying tactic for every fucking country in the world. It's a spying tactic to blackmail people. It used to be through sex, right? They had a lot of female agents who would have sexual liaisons with these. It's famous. Here during the Civil War, there was
That
one.
happened in Austin Powers.
Well, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
No, but it really is like it's Austin Powers. This is where he gets his history from. It's like on Seinfeld, right, where Elaine says to Jerry, "It's a shame that all your cultural references come from Bugs Bunny cartoons."
I'll be hanged.
Yeah. God, that was with the Tweety Bird. Oh, that was a funny one. Anyway, so listen. The whole thing is like, you're a queer for Palestine. Go there. Just go. I'm sure they would take you. You could go fight for Hamas. The fact of the matter is you wouldn't. You wouldn't do it. And you're being fucking bamboozled by these people into believing that you're in it for a good cause. And it's just like, well, we're victims and they're victims, so we victims got to stick together. Dude, they would fucking kill you as soon as look at you. I've seen interviews with Palestinian people that laugh like these, they say, what do you think of this? And they're like, whatever, we'll take them for now, And
their heads will look good on our shelves later.
That one's going to make a big splat when it lands.
Head full of cum.
See if somebody will fuck that queer now, yes. It'll be like fucking a stewed tomato. I know, because I have fucked stewed tomatoes. Yeah.
Just right after they ripen. Wait till the
plump
soft.
pulp. It's just ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, man. Queers against Israeli apartheid. Okay. All right. And again, I'm not even getting into all that shit, but who are you fucking backing?
I would just worry about covering my own ass.
This is like Jews for Nazism. Like, it's insanity. No, they don't really mean it. Nazis don't really hate Jews. That Mein Kampf thing was really overblown.
Adolf has the best prices around the world.
And BMW is a wonderful car. Hey, come on now.
Get that Nazi
so they
slut
built
outta
a
here.
few airplanes. They built a few gas chambers. Come on.
No harm, no foul.
Water under the bridge. Anyway, and Walter fucked this up, so we can't play it for you.
No, you can play it.
Number 3, same-sex actions are unequivocally haram. Number 4, the one who acts upon those desires is sinful, but within the fold of Islam, so long as they don't justify those acts. Number 5, the one who does not act upon them is actually rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for their mujahada, meaning there's...
So if you want to bang a guy in the ass and you don't, you can go to heaven.
If you think about it.
Right. It's a pretty sweet deal.
Number 6, the one who denies its prohibition denies what is ma'loom min ad-din bid-darura. I think we just released the lecture that I gave on ijma'. And
so here, hold on. What's the penalty?
You have to give up a head or something, right?
Yeah. You would think.
One of your heads.
I have a question. Why is music haram? If it is haram, what is the punishment of listening to music?
If you take a look at music, and I know there are very few scholars, of late who are saying no, there's nothing wrong and so on. But even those, and I want to clarify something to start with before we get to what my son here has asked. The truth is, even if we look at some of the scholars who might have said that, okay, you know what, music, there is certain, it's permissible. They are not talking about the beat of today. Today's beat is definitely excluded. There is no scholar on earth.
This is what they think of listening to music. Think of what they think about you putting your dick in another guy's ass.
That allows you to listen to Beyonce and Madonna and Michael Jackson and those, that is completely out because, number one, it's dirty, it's filthy, the lyrics are horrible, terrible.
Hey, speak for yourself, man. These are like Grammy Award winners.
As for the punishment that a person may get, wallahi, that's between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's up to Allah how He chooses to do what He does.
If He tells me to take that head off, I must do it. This is
lunacy.
Yeah.
You're going to come to a point where you're going to feel like the whole world, the weight of the whole world is on your shoulders. A man is going to come for you, and he's going to come for your family, and he's going to establish him trying to divide your family because of the haram relationship you're in with him. So my dear respected and beloved.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. But this is it, and again, this is why it's the Overhill Bitch of the Week.
God damn, man.
Just please go away. Just go away now, because
watch out, man. You're gonna go down the haram alley.
No, actually, I talked to somebody who said, and I said, because he's a big supporter of Palestine, and I'm okay. Like, whatever you believe is what you believe. Like, I'm not fighting there. I'm not willing to go fight. And if I'm not willing to go fight, then I really don't. It's not my cause, right? Because I believe, like, if I really felt strongly, but you go fight. Like, people tell me, oh, I support Ukraine. Yeah, from here, huh? That's real easy. They'll take you. They're looking for volunteers, you know? Like, I think the average age of the average Ukrainian soldier now is like 40 years old. Because over 1.5 million Ukrainian men are dead.
Yeah, they're digging deep into the bench.
And again, you want like they said with the crackhead thing, like, you know, what's his name? Zelensky's like, come on, man, you got a couple more dollars on that fucking card. Let's go. Like, we can party all night, man. And people have their hands so far in the pockets, and it's so fucking corrupt. And I say, enough of this shit. You really want to support it? And I got people like European people that I you know, because I'm on Reddit and I do all that shit, Quora and Reddit and everything. And oh, you American, you know, we'll take care of ourselves. I'm like, you Europeans have never taken. When? You got to go back 200 years to when you motherfuckers put up for yourselves. We bailed you out of 2 world wars. You know, you sit there worried about, if Russia takes Ukraine, they'll take the rest of Europe. And I'm like, really? Because that's the same shit that they told us about Vietnam, right? If Vietnam is the domino effect, right? Kennedy talked about it in his acceptance speech at his inauguration, right? It was not the acceptance, but in his inauguration speech, and he campaigned on it. If Vietnam falls, it's the domino effect, and all the whole area of Asia falls to the communists, and blah, 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 right? So we go into Vietnam tactically bombing, not wanting to kill women and children, you know. And when we did, like, we put, what's his face, the My Lai massacre and all, and that's bad shit, don't get me wrong. But, you know, when we did kill civilians, we held, you know, people, Lieutenant Cawley, I think his name was, right? We held him accountable for that shit. And it didn't work. We lost. We lost in Vietnam, right? And we killed a lot of young, poor black people, especially in doing so, right? Because the wealthy white kids could get out of it, you know? People like Bill Clinton and Donald Trump and George Bush and all of these guys, they got out of it. Al Gore. They all got out of going to Vietnam. None of them went. And so you know, we went in Vietnam fell. And they told us about this domino effect that's going to happen. And in fact, it was just the opposite. Within 12 years after Vietnam falling, right? We lose in Vietnam. Within 12 years, the Soviet Union falls. So not only did everything not fall, communism fell. Within 12 years, Ronald, tear down this wall. And he did. Gorbachev tore down the wall like it was all over. The Soviet Union was dissolved. You know, and so when you tell me like, oh, if this falls, Russia's going to take all of Europe. Well, that sounds like Europe. That sounds like a Europe problem. I got to be honest with you. You know, that doesn't sound like an America problem. I want to get out of NATO. I want to get out of all this shit all over Europe. Fuck Europe. Fuck them. Fuck them. We're sitting here. We put over 50% of the resources in NATO come from us. And for what? To protect Europe? Fuck you. We have socialized medicine in here. Well, no shit. You don't pay any money for defense. So, of course, you can afford all this other bullshit. Like, look, enough. And I tell these people, you know, when I get into this shit on Reddit about it, I'm like, well, prove it. Like, take care of yourselves. I don't care. I don't care, man. What happened?
Nothing. I'm just checking the title.
Yeah, well.
The only thing we didn't do was body cam reaction.
Well, we only have one watching, and I think that's you. So, anyway.
It jumps up and down.
We can pretty much end this right now.
Fuck you, people watching.
Yeah. But listen, well, if we do, because sometimes people watch it later. I don't know if you noticed that, but people do watch it later. Why does Rachel Zegler get fired by Disney and owe money? Oh, she's another. I can't stand that chick. But she's too easy a target. Peter Dinklage, too. You fucking douche. Hey, you're painting dwarves in a bad light. Except for me, of course. I could get, you know, it's all right to hire me for Game of Thrones where I play a dwarf, you know, and that's okay. But to hire 7 dwarves, no, that's wrong. Fucking dick.
How much pussy you think he gets?
A lot.
I'm sure.
Oh, there's whores out there that fuck you for money. You're famous. That's one of my favorite 30 Rock, where Tracy Morgan is fucking hiding from the black what is it, the black mafia, I think they call it. It's fucking hysterical. So he's pretending to be this regular guy out in Pennsylvania, and these girls are like, I'll do anybody who's famous. I don't care. She's like, I screwed the morning DJ from some little Scranton radio station. She goes, well, I'm Tracy Morgan. She goes, oh yeah, right.
I see Angel Reese's face in the corner over there.
You know, I love me some Angel, though. I love Angel, man. I think she's beautiful. And she's such a cunt. I could marry this
headlines,
girl.
but this time it's for all the wrong reasons. Did you see what?
When was she in the headlines for the right reasons?
Yeah.
Like she's never been very good at playing, right?
She's good at being a cunt.
The guy who, she's great at it.
She's a pro.
Latest unrivaled league game, she had a wide open teammate, Lexi Hull, right under the basket. Easy bucket, simple pass. But Reese, she didn't even look her way. Instead, she forced up a contested shot and missed.
This isn't just one bad. Like it doesn't. They're making it like, oh, this. What did they say? 40% of her rebounds came from missing her own shots. Like that's who she is. She's
I'd go one-on-one with her.
Oh, she's horrible. She's horrible. And she's one of the best players in the WNBA, which what does that tell you? Come on, man.
It's a pattern. Chicago Sky fans should be worried. Reese's court awareness, decision-making, and teamwork are raising serious red flags. How do you trust a player who refuses to pass even when it's the obvious
put that
choice?
baby down. It's not a ball.
She had 8 points and 10 rebounds in the first half.
Look at that fucking tall drip of water.
After halftime, 0 points. Completely shut out. To make things worse, she racked up 4 personal fouls, showing frustration instead of discipline. Meanwhile, Chelsea Gray dropped 38 points and led her team to victory. That's the...
Yeah, but Chelsea's an ugly lesbian. Nobody wants to look at her.
Look at my legs.
Right. This is a straight, beautiful black woman in the WNBA. That's like a rare bird. It's like Caitlin Clark. She says.
When was the last time you had your prescription checked?
What?
Your glasses.
Why? You don't think she's attractive?
No.
She got a big ass, man.
Well,
Look
we're
at
talking
the ass
face.
on this girl. You see, again, Walter, we went through this. Back of the head, man. That's all I care about. Look at this. She just got an ass and a half, man. This girl's ass don't stop. Look at this. Look at that thing, boy. Oof. It's just all out there.
Yeah, I mean,
there's another shot.
Neck,
Look at that.
Neck down.
Oh, she's got a pretty face, man. I think she's pretty. I don't like the cumbrellas on her eyes. I don't like that. If she did, every time I've seen her without those things, look at that fucking ass in that bikini, dude, come on, man. Nah. I get lost on that thing. Even I'd have to strap a 2x4 to my ass so I didn't fall all the way in. That's fucking beautiful. Look at that thing. That goes on for days.
That's all right. She's a scrub.
A scrub.
She has to do that shit.
Dude.
Is that Nicki Minaj?
No, dude, she looks
she's
good
got
there,
the Nicki
man.
Minaj look there.
She sure does. I love Nicki Minaj. You know that.
And what did they share? Cunt.
See, I don't think Nicki Minaj is a cunt either. Like I like Nicki Minaj.
Oh, Nicki Minaj is a cunt. I like her. I think she's talented, but she's a cunt.
Both of these women are ghetto fabulous. They're just ghetto fabulous, man. The culture, it's just totally different than what you're used to. They're cunts, but she's no different than Madonna. No different than Madonna. Madonna's a cunt too. She's
Madonna's no prize either.
Well, not anymore.
I mean, yeah, I guess like early.
Was Madonna ever? I tell you, she's at this age, she's more attractive than Madonna was.
Well,
at
she
this
has
age.
more to offer than Madonna.
Look at Madonna at this age. Madonna, listen, Madonna got a reputation.
Madonna was
right. She got a reputation. Now look at her. I don't think she's all that.
Yeah, right.
But she had a reputation with the DJs, right, of going into the clubs and blowing these guys in the fucking booths to get her fucking music played. Come on. She was the most talentless person. My ex-wife used to listen to. I said, this chick's got no talent. Oh, what do you mean? I said, trust me. In 50 years, people will still be singing Barbra Streisand, who I can't stand, and Celine Dion, right? Whitney Houston. Like, that's talent. That's talent, right? Whitney, the crackhead, right? One of the most talented people in the world.
I'll take Whitney any day over Angela Reese.
Yeah.
Any day.
Oh, that goes without saying. But you take her over a ton of people. Like, it's not just Angel Reese.
I don't like Angela, whatever the fuck. Angel Reese.
I had such a crush on Whitney Houston, man. Oh,
yeah. I used to watch the Bodyguard video all the time.
Look at that. She was just fucking beautiful. Beautiful woman. Yeah, so innocent, so sweet. Let's look at this one. Hold on a second. Yeah, not so much. There we go. Look,
man.
And Bobby Brown can do this for you too.
Shit.
Yeah. She looks like she belong up on West 156th Street, man. She like.
What a shame.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't do rock. Why? You got some, baby?
Whoever said crack kills?
Your dick. I suck your dick. No, I mean. Yeah.
Crack is phenomenal.
Yeah, crack is whack. Remember that? Yeah, crack is whack. I don't do crack. Crack does me. What a shame, though. What a shame. She was just so beautiful, man. And that man just fucking destroyed her. He just destroyed her. But you know what? You make your own decisions in life. You know. But my God, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's my look right there.
Yeah, very pretty.
Yeah. Anyway, I digress.
Angel Reese, eat your fucking heart out.
All right, granted. Yeah, she looks so sweet there, boy. That was when she was still kind of pure. When you knew her mama was singing for the church, and that was, that was that look. And they really cultivated that in her. Anyway, I think Kevin Costner got a little of that, right?
He was the bodyguard.
Yeah, but wasn't there a rumor that they were fucking around on doing the making of that? Yeah. You know, another woman who I think was very underrated. Yeah, this. Yeah.
Who's this?
Jennifer Beals. I remember when her movie came out, Flashdance. Look at that.
Oh, Flashdance.
Look at that fucking girl, man. And she comes from mixed parents. And it shows, man. She's just fucking gorgeous. She got the best of everything there, man. That girl was so sweet. Anyway. Again. So I think that's our show for today. But listen, we're going to have a segment that
we always end on a high note.
Hard note, yeah. We're going to be back 1 to 3. We're not going to be here next week. We're going to be here the week after, whatever. What is that?
I will try and get another episode up by next week.
Today? It's the 17th?
Today is the 17th. Yes.
We'll be back on May 1st. I think I spit on myself. We'll be back May 1st, and we're going to start with a thing called the Fat Man's Corner because I'm going to lose the weight again. And we may be incorporating motivation into this. Walter's just so hopeful. No, but we're going to do it, and I'm going to do a weekly weigh-in and all that kind of bullshit because my doctor says it's getting scary again, right? And we're starting to talk about going back on insulin and shit like that. So, yeah, and it's time to get healthy because I guess I don't want to die. I don't know. Sometimes that fluctuates from day to day, too.
Fluctuates with the weight.
Yeah. But I really don't like this. It's very uncomfortable for me, and it's time to take care of this shit. And nobody's responsible for it but me. So anyway, with that, that's it. That's our show for today. Hope you enjoyed some of it. Whoever's there, if anybody watched it at all, if you're going to rewatch it, I know I always do. But please like and subscribe and all that shit. We have a lot of other videos that we come out with. Did you put one out this week, Walter?
For which?
For Trash TV Review.
No, I've been buried in edits.
Fucked up the audio today. Had us on late. Walter's kids like, fuck you, man. What the fuck? Like, guy puts out one short a day, thinks he's fucking king. Get the fuck out of here. It's okay to say it, Walter. It's okay. It's all right. I can't argue with you. I'm a dick.
Anyway. I'm hoping to get a new one up next week.
Yeah, well, whatever. But we have a lot of videos there, and you can look at the archive videos because a lot of them are really, really funny. You know, and the last one did really well, and I didn't care for it that much.
The last one did well. What, the short or the episode?
The episode.
Like view wise?
I think so.
View wise, it didn't do well.
Which one was the one we got like 2,000 views on it? No,
that was the one before.
Oh, all right, never mind. All right. I didn't care for it though. I really didn't. Anyway,
way to promote the channel.
Yeah.
You know what? You
no,
might
but
watch
look
it,
at some of the old ones.
Kind of fucking sucks, actually.
Look, if you really want to see a funny one, you got to look at Shakira Flabbergasted, and I think it's labeled that, right?
We've
Shakira
been plugging this for like 2 years.
I don't understand why people don't go back and look, because it was fucking hysterical. This girl is so fucking crazy.
Start putting more of the shorts out of this.
I have. They
Shakira.
don't go anywhere. They go nowhere.
Shakira?
Yeah.
She's just not meant to be a star.
Except for the one where he gets tased in the balls. Her boyfriend gets tased in the nuts trying to defend her against the police. It's fucking hysterical.
Oh, fuck.
They tased him right in the nuts. It was great. Anyway, have a great day. We'll see you May 1st. I'm going to Tennessee. Maybe we'll have some video of that. I don't know. I wouldn't get my hopes up. But going to see Shane Gillis, actually. So anyway, see you next time. Be well. Take care. Bye.